Hey horror fans, welcome back to Room 237, coming at you with yet another 80s slasher film. I know I'm supposed to be going back and forth between 80s slasher and like Italian films. I will be doing more Italian films, but I've been on quite the slasher kick lately. And surprised I haven't done this one yet. This one's a must, because this is one of the progenitors of the slasher genre, or at least once the template's been set. A big favorite for most, one of the most popular ones, one that helped define Jamie Lee Curtis as a final girl and a scream queen. Of course, Prom Night from 1980. I don't mind this cover. I'd rather have the original cover with like the ski mask and the knife. That one's way cooler. But anyway, I mean, what can be said about Prom Night that probably hasn't already been said? Like I said, this is a favorite for many people. It's usually ranked as one of the top or most important slasher films. It's not one of my favorites. I do enjoy it, but there's plenty more that I like more. That said, I do respect this film very much. I respect what it did, respect what it is, and I see why people love it. You know, on the backs, it inspired a new style. The Scream series, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legends, so on. And, you know, watching this film, you can see Scream, you can see I Know What You Did Last Summer. All the influences are in this. I will say this is probably one of the more dramatic slasher films, especially during its beginning / peak, 1980. I think this was after Friday the 13th in the same year. So the slasher genre was getting going by this point. But, it actually lost my train of thought on that. Sorry. It's getting late. But yeah. So anyway, just moving forward. But I definitely see why people respect it. And I get its importance. It's just not one of my favorites. The kills I really like. Dramatic. That's what it is. That's what I was saying. Okay. Take two. It is one of the more dramatic ones. Because, the killer, you kind of sympathize with the killer. The ending, is much more dramatic than a typical slasher ending. And the final shot of Jamie Lee Curtis, I think she did a very good job. I like the tagline, some will be crowned, others will lose their heads. And I like how they have one of the most popular death scenes right on the back of it. And yes, Leslie Nielsen is in this. Of course, I'm more familiar with Leslie Nielsen apart from Creepshow for Airplane, Naked Gun, one of the funniest people, in my opinion, to have ever lived. He plays the principal. Now, the story opens, there's this abandoned building and a group of 11-year-olds playing this sort of morbid version of hide and seek, where, I think it's called like The Killer's Coming or something. And these two twins, fraternal twins, are walking by, Alex and Robin. Robin wants to play with them, so she goes up and gets scared easily, and one kid cheats so he doesn't get caught, sort of acts like he's one of the seekers, and they keep chanting like, killer's coming, kill, kill. And they sort of, because there's Nick, Wendy, Kelly. Hold on a second. I just got done watching it, and I've already got to look it up because I forgot. Nick, Wendy, Kelly. Nick, Wendy, Kelly. Give me another second. I should have done this before. Oh, Wendy, Jude, Kelly, and Nick. Those are the ones playing the game. Robin wants to play, so they keep chanting kill. They scare little Robin. She backs up to a window and falls to her death. It looks pretty horrific. I mean, like, they catch the fall and everything. And the kids, knowing they'll get in trouble, they vow never to tell anybody. Like I know what you did last summer. But the last time we see Robin, we see a shadow standing over her. So someone knows the truth. Later on, we find out there was this known sex offender who lived near the area. He fled from the cops for something else. And he got arrested for it. Jump 6 years later. And, Leslie Nielsen is the principal and the father of Robin. Jamie Lee Curtis is the older sister. She's now a senior. Alex is a junior. And it's prom night. And I'm not going to go plot by plot, because I'm sure most horror fans or people getting into horror have probably already seen this. Avoid the 2008 or 9 or whatever PG-13 piece of shit remake, where they tell you who the killer is, there's no mystery or nothing, and it's PG-13 and it's fucking shit. I don't even remember much. But anyway, each person gets a call, a creepy call, like, you like to play games. Like Scream. Nick, the young boy of the group, he was dating Wendy, who's like the princess, the snobby, spoiled princess. He's now dating Kim, Jamie Lee Curtis. And Nick and Kim are going to be crowned prom king and queen. And, the first hour is all about getting their dates and, setting everything up. There's this one sort of a buffoon kind of guy. He's like, he has the loud car and he's always smoking cigarettes. He's the tough guy that's always in trouble. He has the hots for Jamie Lee Curtis. But anyway, and then it goes back and forth between the kids and the cops looking for this sex offender that just got released. Oh, and also there's the groundskeeper at the school, played by Robert A. Sullivan, who's been in a number of Cronenberg films, like Scanners, The Brood. He was in Jason X with Cronenberg. If you know him, you'd see him. And then finally, of course this is a slasher film, so you gotta have some sex. The first kill is exactly an hour in. The girl, Kelly I think it is, she's about to have sex with her boyfriend in a locker room, but she can't go through with it. So he leaves her. He's a big, total douche about it. So she's sad, and the killer comes up, and the killer sort of whispers. He's all black ski mask. And he's just like, when he stabs, he's like, now, yeah. Or he's like, your turn. He comes up behind her, and it's not bloody, but it's stylized, so that works. Slow motion, it's up close of her face as she's dying. Very effective. This other girl, I think it's Jude, she met some fat kid who thinks he's like Elvis, a disco kid. They're having sex in his van, smoking joints, and the killer opens the back door so she falls out and gets stabbed a bunch of times. Then there's a long, it's funny to me, scene where the killer keeps getting kicked out of the van while the kid's driving it. And, driving all over the place, eventually goes off a cliff, explodes. I mean, I'm just going over the kills. Since it is a twist ending and a mystery, I'll say spoiler for the ending, or just spoiler alerts now. If you haven't seen Prom Night, again, like I say in all my videos, when you're getting into horror or you want to see Prom Night, just stop watching now and go check out Prom Night. Again, I would recommend it. It is, even though it's not one of my favorites, it is a must-see if you're a slasher fan. Wendy's the one you want to see get it the most, because she's a fucking stuck-up bitch. You have the drama love triangle between Jamie Lee, the Wendy girl, and Nick. Her, she sees the killer. She's running all over the fucking place. She's in a science class, and she's in this class, she's in this hallway, that stairwell, down in the automotive room, garage. And, what does her in, she's hiding in the storage closet, and Kelly's body falls in front of her when she screams. The killer finds her. Her kill, though, I really like, too, because it's off-screen, but the screen goes black, and you hear the hacking of the axe. So, okay, that's different. I kind of like that. See, it's okay not to have blood or to be off-screen as long as there's a style behind it. As long as it's still stylized. Make it unique. But, of course, Wendy had planned sort of prank with this Lou guy, the asshole troublemaker, because she wants Nick back, he wants Jamie Lee Curtis. So, you know, he gets some of his buddies to beat up Nick so he can be crowned. So when they go out to be crowned at the same time, Jamie Lee will see that it's him. But he gets his head cut off just as the ceremony is beginning, and it gets rolled down the walkway with all the bulbs. And that's like right at the end of the movie. And so why it's kind of dramatic is because, you know, Nick's the last one. There's a fight between the killer, Nick, and Kim. Kim hits him in the head with the blunt, I thought it was the sharp side of the axe, but, and she can see through the ski mask. She's like, you know, she recognizes him. They go outside. The cops are waiting because the groundskeeper, the creepy groundskeeper, has said, like, you know, there's a killer, and the cops kind of, I guess they figure it out. The killer collapses, and she's kind of holding him, and that's when he tells her the truth. And we cut back and forth, like, as he's falling, dying, we get flashbacks to the beginning with the kids. And when the mask is taken off, we find out it's her brother. It's Robin's twin. Which is kind of weird because he's the DJ for the prom, so don't you think people will be wondering where he is? It's a nitpick, but whatever. So yeah, it's kind of dramatic because, you know, she lost her sister, all her friends, because all those girls are like her tight group of friends also. And then she finds out that she pretty much killed her brother, who killed all of her friends. And then at the end finds out not only is her brother the killer, but her boyfriend and all her friends are responsible for her sister's death. And there's this sort of long shot of Jamie Lee as she's crying, sort of taking it in. I thought she did a very good job in that scene. Then it ends abruptly. So it's kind of like a Giallo also because of the mystery, even though it's not really about solving who the killer is, and then it ends abruptly, kind of like a Giallo film. The kills, I thought, you know, even if they aren't the bloodiest, except for maybe this beheading, at least they were stylized. Like the one girl in the locker room, it was slow motion and there was music, and so there was, which is actually that shot there. So it was still stuck to it. Oh, another thing, like I mentioned some things that are like, oh, that's, I see where Scream got that, I see where I Know He Did Last Summer got that. The killer in this has got to be where Ghostface, they got the inspiration of this aspect of Ghostface. The killer in this is clumsy as fuck. He gets kicked and punched and pushed, he trips and falls, just like Ghostface. Except Ghostface is very exaggerated, but the killer in this is very clumsy and weak. But, you know, even though it's only 89 minutes, I think the reason why it's not one of my favorites is because the first hour is very slow. And then, you know, once the kills come in, it's still just back and forth between prom and the kills. There's a very long dance scene between Jamie Lee and the Nick character. And it's 1980, so it's disco themed, but their dance scene's very long. They're just trying to make Wendy jealous. But even though, the kills are not very gory, but I like that they're stylized. I thought it was very slow pace. I really liked the ending. And, I really see why this is a popular slasher. It's one of the ones that helped establish her career and helped get the genre going. So it's definitely one that I respect. Definitely one I'm proud to have. It's just there's other ones I like more. But yeah, other than that, there's not much to say except stay away from the remake. Like I said, the remake shows you who the killer is right in the beginning. I guess it's very different from, because I haven't seen it in a long ass time. I don't even remember the plot. I just remember hating it. And obviously this also helped get the whole gimmick side of slashers, like it has to either be a holiday or a celebration or a certain kind of setting. But yeah, there's not much more to say other than, and I mean, I don't hate the film. I don't dislike it at all. I really do enjoy it. Just the second half. But I do see why this is loved. Why it's always a top important slasher. And I do respect it as much as Halloween and Friday the 13th. In fact, this has been considered Halloween meets Carrie. And I can see that. I can go with that. But so yeah, definitely respect this. I'm starting to repeat myself now. If you're getting into slasher films, you definitely got to see this at some point. Prom Night is a big must. Very important. Even if you end up not liking it as much as others, it's still very important. So Prom Night, that's all I got for that. For Room 237, thank you.